Hmm. Basically, it was just after a time where I'd gone through hell, came back, like, more hell, like, living here, not in this specific rental, but the previous rental, and, like, not good. And I was trying to continue living, but it's difficult when you don't have anyone close to you and you don't know anyone, and there's no one, like, because whoever I'm with or whoever's closest to you, it's like this for everyone to a certain degree, but for me especially, like, whoever is like my quote unquote like best friend or whoever I like have, I'm very easily influenceable or influenced by them. So I was conscious to try and like cut off my previous like best friends or whatever, because they were not living the kind of life that I wanted, and they were not doing the things that I wanted to do or be able to do with my life. So like basically the entire thing is like, how do I, like, I know what I want, I know what I am, or what I'm supposed to be doing, or like I just wanted to be able to do more, and I was done. Like, I'm always an actor. I've always been an actor. I've always known that. Like, that's the no, absolutely no doubt thing. Yeah, but in terms of like myself as a person, like Miranda, my like human person of like being alive and being here, I'm only young for a certain amount of time. So I wanted to be able to model just because it looked like fun, and like I wanted to like make more money because I was done. Like, because of what happened to me with acting, I because I'd worked myself up to such a level where I was so on, and like so I had myself so trained, and because of what happened to me, I honestly didn't have the heart to like go back into it because it felt like I fell back so far. So I just went a completely different route and threw everything that I knew out the window and tried a different approach, basically. But I was looking for someone, because that's how it works, like, to connect with and be like, and who wanted to make money, and that's where I find, like, but I was just going, like, I didn't care. I wasn't the same. I wasn't like calculated the same way. I was more free, more open. I wasn't so like stressed about money because I was living home, so I didn't really have any expenses, just like small travel expenses. And I did have some savings still, like I still had money, so I was able to do that. And that's what I did. I just went and I lived and I shot and I met new people, and like, who cares? And that's when Raylene found me, and she reached out to me via Instagram. She's also a model, and was like, hey, come out, like, I'm going to dinner, like, come out to dinner with me, we're going to Citizen. And she reached out to me before about something, but I was sort of like iffy about it, and it's because I live really far from downtown Toronto. So she reached out again and like was persistent, basically, because that's her job. Like, and I came out. Yeah. Yay. Whatever. Oh, fuck my life. I was like waiting and looking for her, basically. So I came out and I was like, oh my god, like, someone, I just, like, I didn't know about promoting. Like, I didn't know that was a thing that you could do. And here's this, like, 20-something girl promoting. And I'm like, that's great. That's so easy. Like, I can totally do that. It was just something that was like, and they make a lot of money doing it. So I was like, oh my god, ding, ding, ding. Like, this is fucking great. But she actually told me about, like, literally the first night, about a model apartment that they had. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. Like, that's so great. It's like a solution to all my problems because because I wasn't doing as much since we moved here, way, way north. We're not near the subway line. Everything is so far. I can't get anywhere. I don't drive anymore. Like, you know what I mean? So just, and like, that's her job. Like, that's her business. So I didn't understand, like, why it was such a big deal. Like, ugh, I get it. But this was like 2 years ago at least. Whatever. So it was just bad, like, from the start because I didn't know her. And like, there were red flags all from the start, you know what I mean? But like, I continued because I was like, well, I don't have anything to lose, so I wasn't as like diligent. But at the same time, like, I still believe, like, the thing is that I know that if we had become close, because that's what I do, like, that's my thing, like, it's just like that. So it's because she has so much power because they make so much money and they're like literally controlling people's lives, which is insane and not good because they're not the right people to be doing that. Like, they should not be doing that. But it's literally just because they have so much money. And I'm like, it's not good. And I was seeing everything and it just made me want to do it better or talk to them, but they didn't care. They don't want to talk to you because all they care about is in making a profit, which, like, I'm not against, but there's a way to do it where you're not screwing people over, but they don't care. They just want quick, fast, easy money. And I was like, no, I'm not about this. So eventually they just like kicked me out. But like, the red flags from the beginning was like she told me about the model apartment, but then when I was like, oh, that's great, and like I sort of like lit up because that solves a lot of my problems, right? And I wanted to ask and like know more about it because she just told me that it existed, but I didn't know what it meant, what the rules were, what the deal was, basically. So I was just interested. And then she was like, oh, you're using me. And that was her like initial response. And I was like, what? Like, that makes no sense to me because that is like, isn't that the point that you, like, if you're opening a business that you want to get business? Like, I don't understand, you know what I mean? So things like that I was like, I'm confused. Or like, you'd want people interested, like, presumably, especially if you told me about it, like, it's not like you're keeping it a secret. So I was like confused there as to why it was bad that I was inquiring to get more information. And then also the fact that she had said that we were like that we're friends, etc., etc. But she didn't warn me about Mark or his past, and that's because that's the guy that she's working with. But at the same time, like, that's just my, like, that's where I come from in a sense. Like, to me, it's about like women warning and protecting other women, especially from guys like that who have been accused, whether they actually did it or not. The fact that someone is accused of sexual assault, 1 out of 7, like 7 out of, what is it, like for every one time that someone is accused, there's like 6 other women that haven't come forward. So, and he was accused 7 different times. And they actually at one point, but this is my thing, like, I found out that information, but I still needed their service, so I was wary and I was glad that I knew that information. And it made me see Raylene differently, but it didn't stop me from going. And but I gave him the benefit of the doubt in the sense that, like, I judged him based off of my experience of him and how he was with me. So it's not like I completely wrote the guy off, you know what I mean? But there were a lot of things that were just like bad. Like, they lied to you about the rules of the house and the apartment, and they were constantly like dropping things on you while you lived there because they had ultimate control over the place, and that's really all that they wanted. They just wanted bitches, basically. And I was like, okay, I'm like, like, I'm actually under the pretense that they had good intentions for you and they wanted to help you. But really, that was not their intention at all. So I'm not really a fan. Like, I yeah, I liked the idea of it, and I did like what they were doing, but it's just the way they went about it and everything, and the lack of communication, obviously, and the fact that they just didn't care about people because all they cared about was like their lifestyle, and it's just like, it's just not very good. So I was not happy. And then my biggest thing was the fact that they didn't care to like come back and listen. And that's the thing that worries me the most. Like, even now, as far as from what I know, they don't have the apartment anymore, but Mark is still promoting, and like, I know what his opinion of women, basically, I feel is very low, because he does, and I just received a whole other like slew of like Instagram stories and like all these girls, and I don't doubt that for a second, because I know that, like, I mean, example, there was one girl who was 18, 17, 18. I think she was 18. Like, fresh out of high school from Newfoundland, this model, and she's technically, like, she's gorgeous and, like, to me a normal size, but in the modeling industry she went as plus size, and I'm glad that she did, and so that they wouldn't like pressure her to lose any weight, etc. And Mark would literally like call her out and say things like, oh, like, stop eating pizza, or like, you know what I mean, and things like that. And he was always on me about makeup and stuff. Like, sometimes I wore it's not like I went out like this, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't go out to a club like that, but sometimes I wore a very minimal makeup. And he was like, please, like, wear more makeup. And I felt obligated to, because I felt that my residency would be in jeopardy if I didn't like comply with all of their rules, right? So like, that's their play, but like, it really messes you up for like a long time, at least for me, because it like, oh, it's just bad, like, really, really bad. Yeah, and I honestly didn't know what to do for the longest time, because yeah, to me, I saw it as like, oh, like, here's this girl doing this, like, promoting, and that's totally something I can do, because yes, I want to model, but I'm not stupid. I'm not 5'9", I'm not 5'10", I'm not really a model, I'm not tall enough, but like, in terms of what she was doing, totally capable of doing that. And it looked great. It looked like a lot of fun, and I didn't know what the hell to do, and I didn't, yeah, and like, I was tired of being poor. Like, I was tired of, like, because I have so much shit around money because of my dad, like, where I come from. So it's like, yeah, you can say that I'm blaming him. I'm not. I'm just conscious of the root, of the source of all of my shit. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. So that's just my, like, just my perception. And I'd sort of, like, gotten over that, and I don't know, I just wanted to be with people who were, like, not afraid of success, and, like, who didn't, yeah, who did care to make money and actually wanted to work. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, this is great. No. They just used me, and I still don't know what to do about it, to be perfectly honest. Yes, I can tell the story and, like, make a movie. That would be really great. I would, like, have a field day with that, especially creatively, because I can add some things. But yeah, a lot of me for the longest time is like, yeah, But yeah, my worry is that they're still doing shit like that, and that they haven't learned, and that they haven't changed, and that they're not going to. So, like, just me as a person, I'm like, what am I supposed to do about that?
I have no intention of being friends with.
I don't like it. I don't like that it's happening. Just from like, just how I'm built, you know what I mean? So, that was mostly what it was. It wasn't so much about getting a huge payday, like getting any kind of like compensation. I mean, it wouldn't have hurt, obviously, because I'm broke as fuck, but that was my main goal. And, but also from like a real perspective, like literally imagine like not having any money or ability to make any money and like feeling like you're gonna die and not knowing what the hell to do and feeling like no one was listening to me and I didn't know what the fuck to do about it. So I literally just walked into a law office and told them my story and was like, can you help me, basically? And essentially they couldn't, like, because I don't have any money and because I moved home and my mom makes makes more than a certain amount, I'm not entitled to legal representation. And even then, I'm not necessarily entitled to legal representation. So it's just like a messed up, scammy situation, and I'm not a fan of it. And yeah, my worry is that they're still doing it now. But yeah. So, no, she's not my friend. I don't like her. And there's two types of evil people in the world: people who do evil things and people who see evil things being done and don't try and stop it. So that is